The Spartans knew a secret about confidence that modern science is only now beginning to prove. Imagine it, 300 warriors standing against an army that blotted out the sun. They weren't simply soldiers, they were states of mind, rituals of certainty, human beings who, despite fear, looked unbreakable.
And today, you and I might not face Persian archers, but we do face inboxes, deadlines, dating apps, those awkward Zoom calls where you're not sure if you should wave goodbye or just vanish. And confidence is the thing that separates the people who stumble through these moments from the ones who own them.
Oh, personally, I like vanishing and Zoom calls. Just see you later. Gone. I don't like to be the last person there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you actually. It's meeting done, boom, I avoid the uncomfortable stuff and just go.
Yeah, just guys, see you later. I'm not very good with goodbyes. Um, so I just vanish. Having said that, the Spartan child was trained to meet fear with breath. His posture upright, his eyes forward. His ritual was not in words, but in being. Confidence was never a mask, it was a muscle, carved into the body and soul.
And here's the modern reality. Most people wait. They wait for confidence to magically appear. I'll be confident when I've lost the weight, when I've earned a promotion, when I've made enough money, when I've got the right partner. But neuroscience says the opposite. Confidence doesn't arrive at the end. It's what creates the result.
A man who waits for confidence will never move. A man who summons confidence, even when trembling, will find that trembling fades. The Spartans did not wait. They invoked through ritual, through presence, through training, through choice.
That's it. And let's be real. If you walk into a meeting slouched, mumbling, looking like your dog just ran away, and by the way, both my dogs ran away this morning.
Oh,
I got them back, but the builder next door, they've destabilized our fence, and the dogs have worked out a way to dig through it. So
wow.
anyway, total side point. But if you're arriving at that meeting slouched, mumbling, looking like your dog just ran away, you're already losing. But if you stand tall, breathe steady, relax deep, focus forward, and speak with certainty, you will change the entire room before you even start. We unconsciously pick up on all that non-verbal communication.
I think human beings are like that. We're very good at picking up facial expressions. We're actually so good at picking up facial expressions as a species, right?
Mm.
That we have facial expressions, right? The chimpanzees, they have limited facial expressions, and monkeys and all the other apes and all the other primates. But human beings, our our state is written on our bodies and on our faces. So yes, one can actually read that. So, but having said that, better be wrong with confidence than right or correct with hesitation. History remembers the bold. Nobody writes songs about the man who almost raised his hands, unless you're an emo. And there's a lot of songs about that.
I was about to say that would be a terrible song.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, like the one that got away, the kitten. Anyway, that's
The time I almost did.
yeah. That time I always became confident. Yeah, but that's a fraction, yeah, of the population. Yeah, and I love the quote. One of my favorite quotes. I think it's Jim Ryan, and he said, let me get this right, and please edit this part. And he said, when in doubt, do something boldly. Let's get
Love
it.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. When in doubt, do something bold, right?
Let's get into the neuroscience. Amy Cuddy's Harvard research on power poses prove this. 2 minutes of expansive posture lowers cortisol, your stress hormone, for want of a better way to put it, by about 25%. That's significant. And it raises testosterone, the confidence hormone, if you like, by about 20%. And that is massive. You're literally biochemically shifting your state in minutes. And this is not woo-woo, it's not hype. This is science.
Wow. Does that work for women as well? Increasing the testosterone?
Of course it does. Women have testosterone too.
Mm,
They just have it in a different balance. And men have estrogen also, obviously,
yeah.
just in a different balance.
Uh, Fair enough. So, ladies who, if you're listening to this, confidence, it's all good because the testosterone will produce is balance, right? So,
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
Let me get back to the point though. The ancients knew this without laboratories, without charts, computers. They discovered it through trial and ritual. Jono, you know what's a hoplite?
I don't know the hoplites. What was the hoplite?
So the ancient Greeks inherited a battle formation, and that is because they're used to uh, fighting on a plane. Yeah. So the
Right.
hoplite is a phalanx. So they have armor, they have helmets for the rich ones anyway, right? And they have a shield, and they have a very long spear. That's a hoplite.
Right.
Yeah. And they're a phalanx. That means they're very tightly they're in a tight formation when they're marching, right?
So they're essentially creating an armored unit, right? And they can move together as one.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
They have a shield wall that has a very long spear. So
Yeah.
Alexander the Great took it to the next level, right? And he created a phalanx that is 16 feet, I believe, long.
Oh, wow.
So it's longer than a horse. Yeah. Um, so they have to be very disciplined because if you can imagine this, unless you're in the front, if you're the second row of the phalanx, there's a shield. Your shield is almost touching the bloke in front of you,
Mm.
and the bloke behind you, right? His shield is touching you, so it's very compressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the hoplite phalanx was not only shields and spears, by the way. It was breath, rhythm, and posture. So imagine that formation. You are forced to stand up straight. Yeah, you can't slouch, you can't go left and right because you're forced to do so, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, have you ever noticed those British in the 1800s, 1700s? They have I forgot the term for it, but they had a uniform, right, that forces their chin to go up, right? So their collar are very stiff, and they have this apparatus in their uniform, so they can't look down. So
Yeah.
they're always chinned up. So, and one of the reasons for that is it's rather intimidating, Number one, when everyone's chinned up on attention like that, but also they didn't think of it, but it happened. It forces your body to be in a confident posture.
Right.
So yeah, it worked, right? Like you can't do that. You can't do that, right? I even have a theory that maybe those tall hats they have. If they look down, it will fall, right?
Well, that's true, actually. Yeah,
I
I've
don't
never
know
thought of
if
that.
I don't know if that was the case, but that's one of the things they needed to do was also to balance their very tall hats because those massive tall hats look intimidating across the field. They look like really tall people, right?
Wonder who came up with the idea of let's all wear massive hats into battle.
Yeah, it's to it's to fool the enemy that they're taller and bigger than them.
Right.
And if you look at the British uniform, it's those big black hats that they have. I don't know what they're called, but it looks like a massive human being
Yeah.
from across the field. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Yeah. So, but yeah, they also could not look down. They can't slouch. The uniform made them stand up. So going back to the Spartans, the men were moving as one body. Confidence multiplied by confidence.
Right. And look, unless you're in the military in some way, today we call that a team meeting. That's as close as we get.
Mm,
Except half the team forgot to unmute, someone's camera's off, and some guy in accounting is breathing heavily into the mic.
mm.
Not exactly warrior spirit, but the principle holds true. Your state sets the tone for others. The confidence itself is contagious.
Oh yeah, big time. I totally agree. One of the data that I saw only last week that A players in a team they lose their A game if they join a B or C level kind of players.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people do, or a lot of businesses do, is they get a C player, yeah, and team them up with an A player in the hope that the A player can bring them up.
Mm.
But it's actually the opposite that will happen. So you want to keep your A players together so they keep on going, skyrocketing, and then have another plan for the B and the C player.
Mm.
And I think because competence now, for that matter, is indeed contagious. And also, confidence is I think it's a virus, for the lack of a better word, worth spreading. One man who stands tall inspires 10. Yeah. 10 who stands tall inspires a city. And a city of confidence, oh my goodness, that's unstoppable.
And here's the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference between real confidence and a state you've deliberately created. When you change your body, you change your chemistry. When you change your chemistry, you change your focus. And when you change your focus, you change your results.
Have you heard of that Jedi saying?
You
I,
bring up the ancient Jedis?
yeah, the ancient Jedi's. Your focus determines your reality.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
The Stoics also spoke of ataraxia. Okay. So equanimity amidst chaos, right? And the samurai spoke of fudoshin, the immovable mind. The Spartans embodied Andrea, yeah, the courage needed to face in the face of fear, right? Three cultures, one truth. Confidence is not absence of fear, right? Confidence is choosing presence despite fear.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, think of the last time you felt confident. It wasn't because everything was perfect. It was because you chose to show up differently. And the last time you doubted yourself, it wasn't because you lacked ability. It was because your state collapsed. Same you, different state, different outcome.
I once met a man who said, I'll feel confident when I have a six pack. Yeah, like abs. Not beer, the six pack abs. Yeah. And I told him, yeah, I'm serious. By then, you'll be too hungry to enjoy them. Right. um, Six packs are amazing when you're young.
I wouldn't know.
By middle age, I really don't know a lot of middle-aged men who has them. We got one pack, right?
Exactly.
We have one pack, a unified pack system of confidence. So confidence cannot wait for the mirror. Yeah. It must begin in the marrow, the bone marrow, the core of it.
It does. And neuroscience calls this embodied cognition. The mind doesn't just control the body controls the mind. Your brain actually reads your posture, your breath, your voice tone, and then decides how you feel, which means you're not stuck. You're programmable.
That's so good. Let me just absorb that. Ah,
It's one of the things I talk about with my clients all the time. It's, just because someone's in a limiting state of mind
mm,
right now doesn't mean that's their ongoing future. And people get caught up in this all the time. They get caught in whatever problem they're having in the moment. But the problem and that state of mind will pass.
mm.
Just because you're like that now doesn't mean you're going to be like that in the future.
I was watching this podcast yesterday, similarly to what you're talking about. And the podcast is about how to be cool. It was
Again,
so.
I wouldn't know.
I was cool in high school ish. Um, One of the ways to be cool from that podcast is don't talk a lot. Yeah. Uh, One needs to be confident. One needs to be a risk taker, and there's a bit of aloofness in it. And another thing that came from that podcast is one needs to be genuine. So a person who's trying to be cool is not cool, right?
Right.
So it reminds me, but it reminds me of this topic we're talking about, right? Um, I think confidence, as we're talking about, is this, it's not hot-headed. You're cool about it. You're almost certain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And similarly, think about it. The sculptor does not wait for the marble to become art itself, right? He will touch the marble. It's cold, it's cool. Then he carves it. So too must you carve confidence. Each breath, each stance, each word is a chisel. Struck enough times, and even doubt becomes a masterpiece. Have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, of course.
Jordan Peterson said, stand up straight, shoulders back.
So let's bring it down to something you can use daily. And we're going to call this the Spartan Reset.
The Spartan Reset. I love it.
It's great, isn't it? The
Yeah.
Spartan Reset.
Oh, that's good.
It's a 1 minute ritual that changes your state instantly. And here's how you do it. So number one, your posture. Stand tall, feet grounded, shoulders back, chin lifted. Number two, your breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. 3 cycles of it. That's called box breathing. A lot of you might know that. Number 3, focus. Lock your gaze on a point ahead steady, commanding. And language, say, I've got this with certainty. Now, do that before a presentation, before a conversation, even before walking into the gym, and you will feel the shift. Do it daily and it'll rewire your baseline. People will notice something different about you, but they won't be able to put their finger on it.
In Sparta, rituals prepared the body, not the battlefield. That's pretty much the end game, right? You don't want to do it there. Because if the body was steady, the battlefield would yield.
Yeah.
So too with you. If your breath is steady, the day bends to your will. And I've done martial arts, right? For a long time. One of the first things you do in martial arts or in a fight, right, is to remove the will of the other persons to fight. And the easy way to do that is hit them in the solar plexus and they're out of breath. And that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Just boom. They won't injure them. They will just boom, can't breathe anymore. You find a chair, you get them to sit down and tell his mates or his friends, hey, can you get him a glass of water? And then leave, fuck off. Not that I've done that in the past.
No, never.
No, my friend and another friend told me that.
Nice. So, look, and this Spartan reset, you can do it any time. You can do it before say you're going on a first date with someone. You can do it when you're walking into that first date. Like I said, you can do it into the gym. You can do it before you run onto the field to play sport. You can do it in the bathroom stall before you go in for an important meeting. Just maybe don't say the I've got this thing too loud, or that guy from accounting from earlier might come and knock on the door and ask if you're okay.
This is the thing. Confidence is not gifted by the gods. It is not written in the stars. It is invoked. It is summoned through ritual, through breath, through posture, and through your state. Once you learn to summon it, you will never again be its prisoner. You will be its master. So, Jono, any final thoughts on these ones for this episode?
Of course I do. So look, here is the truth. Confidence is not magic. It's not a magical spark that some lucky people are born with. It's a muscle. You've heard me say this before. People misunderstand confidence. They think it's binary. They think it's, I'm confident this, but not that, or they're confident, but I'm not confident. Confidence is a muscle, a ritual, a decision. Every time you stand tall instead of shrinking, you train it. Every time you breathe deep instead of letting panic take over and shortening your breath, you strengthen it. Every time you speak certainty instead of doubt, you reinforce it. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the more it grows. And the Spartans understood this. They didn't wait for courage. They created it. They trained their bodies until their minds believed. And science now proves what they lived. Physiology drives psychology. Posture drives perception. Breath drives belief. So here's my challenge to you, everyone listening. Here's my challenge. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect version of yourself. It does not exist. Confidence isn't waiting at the finish line. It's forged at the starting line. When you take a breath, square your shoulders and decide, I've got this. Think about it. Every turning point in your life came from a decision, not from waiting. That job you took, that relationship you started, that risk you dared, it didn't happen because you had certainty. It happened because you chose to step forward. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of action. It's the willingness to step forward even when your hands are shaking. And let me tell you this, you are capable of more than you think. The world doesn't need to be perfect. It needs you to be present. It needs you to stand tall when others crumble, to breathe deep when others panic, to speak truth when others hesitate. Do this and people will follow you. Do this and opportunities will open for you. Do this and your own nervous system will begin to believe your strength. So tomorrow and every day after, take 60 seconds. Do the Spartan Reset. Stand tall, breathe deep, lock your eyes forward. Speak certainty to yourself. And when doubt whispers, and it always will whisper, you'll smile. Because you'll know confidence isn't something you lost. It's something you can summon. That's the Spartan secret. That is the modern science. And that is your path forward. So let me leave you with this thought. If not you, who? If not now, when? The world is waiting. Stand tall, breathe deep. You've got this. Always.
Thank you for being with us here at the Mindset channel. If you found this episode useful, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell so you'll be notified when the next episode comes out. Once again, this is Crom.
And this is Jono. Thanks for coming along, everyone. We'll see you next week.